Welcome to the Employee Co podcast. I'm Rob Wilson. With me is my brother Scott and partner.
Hello.
And Jason Eisenhower, our Vice President of HR.
Hi, everyone.
Jackson working the board as usual.
Thank you. Great job.
Right. Trying to make us sound halfway good. So Jason, as we look at small businesses and going through the environment this year, every year you hear are people going to stay and look for jobs? Is there going to be some downsizing, especially with the economy, all the talk of tariffs and all that? But so one way that I think small businesses can really focus on retaining their employees and increasing productivity and happiness in the workplace is increasing employee engagement.
Yeah, I mean, it is the best thing a small employer can do to help with their attraction and retention. I mean, we had a client a few weeks ago come to me, and it's an owner of, I think it's 25 employees. And he said, how am I supposed to compete with the big boys on employee engagement that can do ping pong tables or George Clooney espresso bar? And let's start with employee engagement.
George Clooney espresso bar?
Well,
Where's that at?
He reps Nespresso.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
it's putting in a coffee bar. Yeah.
Sorry for the shameless plug, George. So the small 25 employee company was worried about what the big companies can do for perks and cool benefits and on-site childcare that this company just could not afford or do, which
Right.
most small and mid-sized companies can't do. So we got through talking about employee engagement and surveys and easy, low-cost ways to improve employee engagement. And by the end, he was really, really psyched and looking forward to some of the initiatives we're going to start rolling out.
Yeah, because I think small businesses, you can really make a difference with your engagement and with the culture in your company. Because a lot of times, yeah, you get a lot of perks at large companies, but you don't get the creativity, I think, that you get with small businesses as well.
Right. And the one-on-one time with the owners.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're a big company, you're lucky if you meet the owner,
Yeah.
especially if you're entry level.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot that you can do as a small business or any size business to work on your engagement.
Yeah. I mean, some of it, the one theme that we really, really try and emphasize to a lot of our clients is communication. I think that is the number one way to improve employee engagement in small and mid-sized companies is in communication. Two-way communication, scheduling formal and informal meetings with all your direct reports or departments or company-wide meetings.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we, over the years, we do our employee surveys internally, and we do them for hundreds of clients as well. And I think that's something that we continually go back to is the communication. We started newsletters that Jackson, aside from doing, making the podcast sound good, handles our newsletters and internal newsletters, not aside from your HR newsletters, but then doing the Zoom calls during COVID. So, and we do these quarterly meetings, kind of a state of a state, and we just added monthly Zoom calls for the months that you're not doing the
Right, just to touch base.
Yeah, just the more communication you can push to your team members, I think the more they feel a part of the business, the global part of your business, not just their department.
Right. What I think you guys do a great job is business initiatives. Like here's how we're doing financially. Here are some big company goals. Here we're expecting to get to this amount of revenue by the next 5 years. I think that's a great way top down for every level of the company, all of our employees, which I think we've got really good, and the data shows it. We've got pretty good employee engagement. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we did this year is we've, my goal for, the last 4 or 5 years would be, I want to get to the business to be $1 billion business.
Yeah.
And, some of the, two-way communication that you hear from some employees are like, well, that's pretty cool that you want to be $1 billion business, but what's in it for us? Like what? So we get more work? How's that work out for the rest of us? So one of the things that we added a couple goals, one, increasing our client satisfaction, but also increasing your employee, not just your satisfaction, but your employee happiness. And how far does that help your engagement?
Right.
Because it's not just about growing from a revenue standpoint, but growing as a family business.
One of the other things that I kind of toot your horns is I think you guys also do a good job of bringing each department out to a lunch. So it's a small, let's say 2 to 5, 2 to 10 employee group that goes out to lunch, and the employees can ping you on questions like, hey, have we got this? And you're all, not only like building knowledge, but it's also building rapport and camaraderie. They get to see the owners and talk to them and hear how they talk. And I think it's a great perk for not just a free lunch, but to get time with the owners.
Well, and I think we both enjoy it too. I mean, that's something that spending time talking to people, that's one of the best parts of having the business. I mean, the fact that it's like, yeah, you look at your awake hours during the day, you probably spend more time at work than you do any other place. And why not make it enjoyable?
Yeah, I think as a smaller, medium-sized business, getting your, looking at your engagement, how engaged are your employees? And the first thing to do, I think, as a business owner or as an operations manager or who's ever handling your engagement is step back and look at how engaged are your employees and how is your retention? And there's some businesses that, fast food business that you go through, certain age groups of people, whether it's college kids or high school
And
kids.
that's kind of the model.
Right.
Yeah.
That I'm saying, so you're not going to fix that, but really stepping back and looking at what does my retention look like? What is my engagement? And then from there, chart a path of how can I increase it?
And one of the ways to gauge employee engagement is through an anonymous survey. So not only talking to your employees and getting great FaceTime and open door policies, which are great, but this anonymous employee engagement survey, which will give you a baseline and show you how over the years you've changed and how you compare to benchmark either within your industry or globally or nationally. That anonymous survey, like you said, Rob, it's something we do internally and also for our clients.
Yeah, and which is interesting too, because we get a ton of feedback, and I would highly recommend any client or listener to do the surveys and to do it in a way that it is confidential, so that your employees don't have to worry about, they're going to see that I did it, and if I ding them, right, it's going to be
Right.
I'm going to get fired or whatever. But doing the surveys really gives you the first couple of years gives you a good benchmark, and as you do a few of them, I really love the open-ended questions because there you really can get into, depending on what they write, how they really feel, because all it takes, depending on how large you are, say you do a survey and you've got 15 people, all it takes is one person to ding you on a couple of questions.
And it skews it. Yeah.
And it skews it a bit. And because it's so confidential and you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know if that's the case or not. So then the open-ended questions help you dig a little bit deeper to maybe figure out or offset, what did I really do bad in that, or do I have an unhappy person
Or department.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you're going on 1 to 10 and someone dings you at a 1 or 2,
Right.
Good point.
it has an effect.
So in addition to communication, I think we can and we have a HR Insights article we're happy to email out. So hr@employco.com, we'll share this with you. But the second point is that you recognize and celebrate contributions. So if an employee, if a direct report or somebody within the company does a great job or like just goes above and beyond on a project or initiative, most employees would really, really appreciate that recognition, either in front of their department, their manager, and in front of the whole company. Some might be shy and reluctant and a little bit apprehensive and nervous anxiety about being recognized in front of other people. So usually the manager has a good pulse on what that employee would really feel most beneficial. But get somehow that employee to feel like they've done a good job.
Yeah, whether it's you just walking past the person or stopping by their desk or their whatever their occupation is and saying, "Hey, great job, congratulations on this. I spoke to a client," or you're in a restaurant, your restaurant business, and you either review or
Sure.
whatever the case is, whatever feedback you got to realize that someone's doing a good job and just saying, "Hey, thank you. That's you're doing a great job."
And we've done it where we give gift cards to, we now are big enough where we do employee of the quarters, which
Jackson.
our producer Jackson's the very first employee of the quarter. So that's always another option as far as acknowledging in front of people and rewarding them for a great job.
Yeah, and the main recommendation is don't wait until your annual formal review. Do it
Right.
more frequently. Could be informal, could be with a gift card. Just make sure you do it.
Right. Absolutely. Positive words go a long way.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I mean we've heard it. We've employees who, and part of my team, who have been recognized in part of the large organization or by the two of you as the owners, have come to me out the side and said, "I really appreciate that. Thank you."
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, just the communication and acknowledgement, that's half the battle.
Yeah, so I think anytime you can say something positive to someone, a good customer experience, a good team experience, it goes a long way.
And a couple other areas in terms of how some easy ways to improve employee engagement are offer autonomy and flexibility, but also providing growth opportunities. So the more you can maybe give that employee the ability to do, if you have a good relationship with your direct reports or your employees under your staff, uh, give them the ability to structure. If they're doing their job and they become really efficient at it, they've been doing it for years, they probably have a little bit of bandwidth to explore new areas or new ways of doing it. Give them some latitude to kind of explore different ways of doing it. Make sure if they miss something or need to work from home for a particular day because of babysitter, you give them the flexibility to get the job done, and they're going to do it well. And at the same time, if they reach out and say, "Hey, I'd like to explore this. Can I shadow this person? I've really always kind of been interested in how this department does this." It goes so long. It really does a great job of improving that employee engagement.
Yeah, and I think on the same note, growth opportunities. So if you can, whether you're hiring from, not just the hiring or job changing or job sharing, but also to grow themselves. Whether it's if you can do an education or training budget like we did, and this year we just added that if we give each employee $500 for training, whether it's getting your insurance license or your continue ed or
Seminars. Yep.
whatever that is, right? A seminar in your field, and if you don't use it, this year we added that you can roll it over. So next year you get
$1,000.
$1,000 instead of $500, and so you're not just so you're not just giving them the opportunity to grow themselves, but then also look at when you're hiring another, adding to your team and hiring another person, advertise it within your company. And maybe you've got somebody that is in XYZ department and wants to do something different.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, right now with Gallup does a survey, and the percentage of employees across the United States who are actively engaged is down to 31%. It's a 10-year low. So back to 2014, this is a 2024 measurement period. So back to 2014, we've hit a low now at 31% only 31% of employees are actively engaged. Now, it's not that far off the high that was hit in 2020, which was 36%. So, but we are trending now. We're in several years of decline now, and this year has hit the 10-year low. So it is probably a good time for employers to take a fresh look at employee engagement.
Yeah, because it's only going to help your business. It's going to help your retention.
Right.
So I highly encourage it.
And HR@employco.com, our email goes to a few of us, but I monitor that. And not only this HR Insights article, but we're happy to help in other ways and strategize and come with cool initiatives to help you improve your engagement.
Yep. And, in the same note of employee engagement, this the month of May is mental health month.
Yep.
So one of the things that we were doing internally is Spencer and Dawn, they got certified. And so they've just realizing that people get stressed out, and people, whether it's stressed out at their job or stressed out at home, and this time of year you've got school is ending, you've got summer starting, you've got people juggling a lot of things. So within your business, if you can recognize and pay attention that sometimes people want to blow off some steam or need somebody to talk to, and so they've organized in our business, they organize a bunch of different things to know that we're cognizant of it and that they're there, and that it's mental health is important to companies. At least to us, it's very important.
Oh, yeah.
There's still, unfortunately, this stigma around mental health and talking about going to a therapist or using the EAP program at work. And Spencer and Dawn are doing a great job of getting employees to feel it's let's just talk about it. It's if you're having a tough time, you don't have to talk to us, but talk to somebody.
Right. And if you don't, like in our case, we've got an EAP, employee assistance program, which a lot of health insurance companies have that now. So, if you don't have one, you may have one and not know you have access to one, where your employees get X number of phone calls a year or a month and availability. So, but definitely something to keep, take a deeper dive into. but happy to help at hr@employco.com. Those go right to Jason. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us.
Yeah, check us out on social media too. We've got a lot of good posts on even Instagram.
Jackson handles the Instagram as well. So multifaceted social media,
He
Jackson.
does the TikTok dances, right?
That's right. I gave that up during COVID.
So you don't do the
I don't
like the
dance.
Blues Brothers.
I don't dance the weekend anymore.
The Blues Brothers. You don't do the cartwheels down the curb.
Oh no.
So, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.